neutral trap deck was relying on that only on that hero power just to ping off your opponent in 20 turns or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
going into the game. So it's Face Hunter against Midrange Hunter.
Amaz wins.
We'll have to see, but most likely.
I'm just calling it, but he might not win. Anybody who actually is currently betting on Amaz, you're probably going to get a good chance here. This mid-range hunter is not exactly favored, although I have to admit, Dog's current hand is pretty good to deal with something like an aggro hunter. If any hand can do it, this is probably it.
Yeah, missing a 1-drop is not good for Face Hunter, that's for sure. So...
Whoa, this is actually a crazy hand for Dog. Although Unleash the Hounds can actually... Unleash the Hounds and Explosive Trap can come in and pose a little bit of a threat here. If Dog plays Explosive Trap, this might actually be not too bad.
Well, Amaz still didn't show any cards that are like, you know...
Staples, or they don't indicate,
tips. Yeah, they don't indicate that he's playing the Face Hunter, so he can just bluff the Freezing Trap here to kill off the Web Spinner and just, you know, try to bluff the Mad Science being pulled back to the opponent's hand, but he doesn't do that, and he just goes Face.
Yeah, and I think now Dog knows that he has to be on the defensive side of things. And the interesting part is, because he's got double Knife Juggler, he has a pretty decent way to start pinging these 1-1s. On the other hand, Amaz would really Unleash the Hounds. Well, I mean, you could Iron Beak Yowl the 1-1 if you wanted to make sure that you could at least negate the spam of spiders. I mean, if the Juggler hits the 3-1, you're in a golden spot.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's crazy good. Oh, and it hits. Alright, this is going to be an Explosive Trap turn if I've ever seen one.
Yep.
This is the most obvious Explosive Trap of all time.
Will Dog just ignore the trap and just push the end button?
Oh, I think you just you attack with everything, and you play. You can even play the Powder Shredder for the extra knife if you really want to race.
The problem is, if he doesn't attack now, this will be a really crucial turn for Knife Juggler Unleash the Hounds, and he didn't attack.
I think Dog should have attacked here. This is not a wow. He's going to regret this. I think this turn.
Yes,
very sorely.
I think that's the.
This is the game-winning turn.
Unleash the Hounds is the what?
Amaz he wants to let that trap go. He says, you know what? If I just do this now, he's just going to trade with his 3-3. Let him trigger the trap. But it was such an amazing face play. Even you could have even hit the face with this if you wanted.
Yes.
You didn't even have to trade into the minions.
Kind of don't get it. Now the Knife Juggler Unleash the Hounds doesn't have such big enough of an impact on the game.
Could he be waiting for? I was gonna say, could he be waiting for Dr. Boom? But ultimately, he doesn't do that. So he plays Juggler with Unleash and maybe even an Abusive Sergeant on one of the Hounds if the 3-1 goes down to kill the 1-2 that spawns. Yep, you Abusive Sergeant one of the Hounds and you're good to go. Still not an amazing position.
Yeah. Still not like super bad for Dog here. I think that the Knife Juggler with the Unleash the Hounds on turn 5 was amazing.
I think he was afraid of Sludge Belcher. That has to be my guess. Being afraid of Sludge Belcher means he wanted to keep that Hunter's Mark with the Unleashed Juggle to make sure he could get rid of that taunt. Because having no Iron Beak Yowl in hand means you have to go through that.
Well, he had to anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that when he captures the Hunter's Mark would be solid overall. But you know, okay, it happened, so and we'll have to see how it resolves. This is a pretty interesting turn. Because you look at the hand from Dog, and like that Web Spinner gave him a Meixna, which he kind of wants to play, but Freezing Trap load up also seems fine.
Yeah, it seems fine to me. I like it. It prevents an enemy trap from being, developed on the board. Force him to put minions, which you can contest easily between Freezing and Loatheb.
But do you kill the Knife Juggler here?
Oh, what if you just play Juggler to set up Dr. Boom? Alright, no, he does not do that. Alright, so the two gnomes fight off and they both die. Rest in peace, gnomes.
Second freezing trap. They have almost no impact in such mirror matches.
And there's another hound, you know. Amaz still has his hound. He can use as a wolf rider with abusive sergeant. That's kind of how...
For like 6 mana.
Wait, really? Is he playing the hound?
Why not hero power and leper gnome?
Leper gnome, yeah. Okay, well he decides to play the hound, probably trying to threaten a beast, I'm assuming. I'm not too sure. But he does have a life edge here, and that leper gnome dying will only consolidate it. Ooh.
Oh wow.
Dog was about to drop Dr. Boom. Dog is a very impatient player. He's been called out for that multiple times. And he was just about to drop Dr. Boom, and then Unleash the Hound shows up and just says, you can weave me in on 7 mana as well. Do you want to do that? And he considers it, but ultimately still goes for the Dr. Boom, and he races. Can Amaz actually outrace him?
No, let's count the damage. Dog has 14 points of damage, minimum 16 points of damage next turn.
Yeah,
and
Amaz
Unleash the Hounds, it can be lethal. And Amaz has 3, 6, 9.
There's no way Amaz can do this right now.
9 plus 4 with Huffer, 13, 15. Yeah, that's not lethal. Oh, there's a Huffer.
Do you have to trade away your Hound with the Abusive Sergeant and Humfer to Dr. Boom?
And maybe just for the Lotheb?
The 1 and 4 for Lotheb, and you leave the Dr. Boom alive? I mean, if you had 1 more mana, this would be a pretty fleshed out turn, but now he has to probably play Abusive Sergeant for... I mean, he can't race. Amaz is awkwardly in the position where racing is not an option, and he's the face hunter. A Dog's starting hand was incredible for this.
I think you have to kill the Lotheb and then go Huffer phase, weapon phase.
And hero power?
Yeah.
And this is probably the play he's gonna go for, just based on what I'm seeing here. Yep, and he still maintains lethal with kill command next turn since he's got the Wolf Rider. More than lethal. Now we're gonna see what... Oh. Again, he can curve out this entire thing.
Wait.
He can actually juggle and unleash and Animal Companion. He can do it all.
Yes, and that's most likely lethal. So you play Nav Juggler first, then you play Unleash the Hounds, and then you play Animal Companion. And if you get Leok...
My question is, do you want to keep the Boombots alive?
Well,
because you could sacrifice them.
The two... I think you can risk the first 2 knives with the Hounds. You know? Because there will be an option to at least salvage one bomb.
Yeah, there's at least 1 bomb you can use to deal damage. Alright, so 1 kills the Abusive Sergeant, and 1 hits the face, so the double bombs could go... Oh, wow, wait, is this... How much is this?
It's not...
That's 16 1-off lethal.
Wait, you just...
The bombs need to hit for 4. Or 3. If the bomb hits for 3 or 4, this is lethal, I think. And this is lethal! Oh my goodness! Boombot MVP, and Amaz actually losing. I can't believe Dog managed to get that game against a face hunter as mid-range. What the odds of this happening?
When he played the Unleash the Hounds, right?
Yeah.
And shouldn't he sacrifice the bombs first?
To get the damage out?
He had 50% of hitting face with the first bomb after the first attack. So he could have maximized the chances of getting lethal, because right now it was only 50% chance. Well,
it would have still been about that specific amount either way. Because if it killed Huffer, then you weren't anywhere, and if it hit face, then you had to sacrifice a second one and get maybe more damage. I guess ultimately it was like a slight difference, but it also depended on the knife hits from the Animal Companion afterwards. Wow, so that was a pretty weird game. I mean, I'm not used to seeing this. I'm not used to seeing Face Hunter lose to mid-range. Very, very unlikely.
That's very true. And now I think Dog kinda... No, he didn't escape from the knife. Like, Amaz still has Druid Hunter Mage. So that was his worst matchup, actually.
Yeah.
For Dog.
For Dog, obviously the worst matchup. By a long shot.
So actually, that's very lucky for Doug here to win this match.
He must feel very relieved just knowing that.
Yeah, just to lock his hunter away from that lurking face hunter again. And Amaz sticks to the face hunter in the next match, so Doug will go with Druid, which I think maybe it's even better than Rogue.
It is. I think it is better than Rogue, but I don't know. It really depends on whether or not you're if you're backed into a corner. Because there are times where face hunter, and you know that like everyone else does who's ever played against a face hunter as a druid. Even if you get, you need to get your ramp. If you innervate out a Keeper of the Grove, for instance, you're probably golden because you remove the threat.
Yes.
And you have something you can basically 2 for 1 past that point. So it's like a 3 for 1, or 2 for 3 rather, since you count the innervate. And at that point, you're usually pretty good. But if you can't get that early removal going, and they do get their sticky minions, you're going to be in a world of hurt. It's not as bad as Undertaker, but it's still pretty tough nowadays.
That's very true.
And but at least he knows Amaz is running Hunter's Mark, so he can at least plan around that.
And there's a 1 owl. Oh, Zombie Chow in the opening hand.
This is gonna be a really important card for Dog.
So you keep the Keeper and Zombie Chow, and that's it.
You keep the Keeper?
Yeah, keep the Keeper. When you have the coin, I think so. Like turn 2 can be hero power.
No, of course you do.
He didn't agree, but he got. Wait.
Okay, it was a spectator mode glitch. He actually kept them both. All right.
Oh, okay. Because I
thought I hallucinated.
Yeah, I thought you both. Like Zombie Chow and Keeper.
Yeah.
What?
I like Amaz's decision to throw down a 2-1 here because he knows his opponent has to coin out hero power. Unfortunately for him, Dog is perfectly on curve even with that wild growth. Won't even have to coin his 4-drop. Now, Glaive Zuka feels like an option.
I think you have to Glaive Zuka.
You can't let that Zombie Chow steal 2 minions away from you.
Yeah, I agree.
One day I want to see somebody come up with a Frost Elemental. Just to freeze someone. Like, they don't have any weapon removal, they just freeze you.
If Frost Elemental would be for 5 points of mana, I think
he would be
He would be really playable. Like, 5/5/5 is really okay. Oh, Huffer!
Well, Keeper of the Grove is exactly where it has to be.
Yeah, so Amaz would like to see their Amisha instead.
Yeah, at this point, I think forcing a Wrath hero power or a swipe on 1 minion would have probably been a bit better for Amaz. But see, this is what I was referring to. If you can get your Keeper of the Grove out early through ramp, then suddenly it doesn't look nearly as bad.
I do like the play here. Amaz opted to play 1 minion and hero power instead of playing the Leper Gnome because that's mana-wise, it's much smarter to squeeze the Leper Gnome at turns with uneven mana, like 5, 7.
Yeah, weaving your hero power in whenever possible is probably the best way to do this.
Yes.
Like even right now, Wolf Rider hero power to face, if that's what he wants to do, is still an option.
So then again, the Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, I'm looking at Keeper of the Grove, and he could just ignore the Explosive Trap for a little bit until he feels, safe for developing his board.
I think you have to, but at the same time, you have also to start the race with the Face Hunter, because even when you have board control, you can just die to random skill commands and Wolf Riders popping out from nowhere.
Well, this is going to be a pretty obvious swipe turn. Pop the spider, swipe face. And then you can even develop a shade with the coin, which is exactly what he does.
Yeah, that's really important for Dog here.
You wanted to talk about setting up the race with the Hunter. I think this does it pretty well.
Yep. Oh, the bow. The bow is really
on curve.
Also.
On curve.
So I think you do use the Wolf Rider here because it's turn 7, and it might mean that.
No, you can weave in. The more hero powers you weave in, I think, the better. So you got an extra 2 damage, and next turn he can get 8. So if he finds 2 off the top, Arcane, well, not 2, because he needs to find 2 damage and 2 mana, which I'm not sure how he does that.
That doesn't.
Not it. He could still get a kill on the Drake, if anything. Gets a bit lucky and hits the Drake. This is the last turn we're gonna see for either player. For Amaz, based on what we see. That is not it.
So hero power, that's for sure. And now it's the question: you have to kill one creature.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. This game is over. There is a Force of Nature in Dog's hand, which adds up to a total of 14 damage. So this will be exactly 14 from Dog, who will be taking a second game from Amaz here. Wow, that race was actually pretty intense. So winning his first game against Face Hunter, wins his second game against Face Hunter. That Wild Growth, Keeper of the Grove, a really important play here. Letting him, you know, trigger the trap, pop a spider, kill a Huffer. That was a really, really crucial card for him. But he got it, and it ended up making the matchup a little bit more palatable. Not something you can see very often against Face Hunter.
I bet Twitch will be going crazy with Wrecked Hunter and stuff like that.
Yeah, like Hunter deserves like justice. Justice demands retribution. So there's only one deck left for Dog, his Rogue deck.
Yeah, his Rogue deck.
Yeah, it's probably.
So I bet Amaz will be sticking to the Face Hunter right now.
Okay.
Why would you switch?
Yeah, I think it's a deck that, I mean, the other lineup of Amaz is Druid and Mech Mage, both of which are slightly disfavored against Rogue. Face Hunter has the potential to just crush the Rogue, completely stop it dead in its tracks. So that seems like a good option. The problem is, even if he wins with his Hunter, his two follow-up decks will need to get, you know,
it's
equal
not so
luck.
bad.
It's not that amazing though.
Yeah, it's like 45 to 55, and I mean the Rogue has like 55% win ratio against the Mage, and I'm not sure about the Druid matchup. It depends on so many things, like
depends on the build. The slower, the generally faster you die, basically against Rogue. The more likely you are to get eaten alive.
I agree.
Yeah, I think Amaz is going to be playing double combo though, or at least single combo. It's going to contain combo, which has the potential to take a game away from Dog if he does go for Druid eventually. So,
well, when you think about the Rogue matchup against Druid, like with Ancient of Wars, those are really a Rogue killer. When there's no sap, you have to deal that 10 points of damage. So it's basically
use a Blade Flurry nowadays. Yeah, like 3 for 10, no problem.
You still lost like 10 points of damage to the face with that. Yeah, when you think about it, Ancient of War is like Twilight Drake with Defensive Argus in one card.
It is, yeah, that's right. It's pretty weak to sap, but besides that, there's not much. And right now, Amaz's hand containing double Force of Nature.
Druid.
Yeah, I'm actually a bit surprised because he did go for Druid as opposed to sticking to Hunter. Maybe he doesn't feel confident about Face Hunter. I feel like that is a matchup that you want to take. Rogue is definitely a deck you can rush down. If any deck can be rushed down, it's probably Rogue. Amaz's hand is clunky. He's gonna need to find some ramp soon.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything. And Dog has a really great opener with Farseer turn 3 into Violet Teacher turn 4. Violet Teacher is one of the most important cards against Druids.
They need to use a swipe and get a hero power down Violet Teacher. Hey, Dog could opt to play Deadly Poisons, but I don't think that does much for him at all.
Well, kinda sucks for the Rogue.
Oh, this Innervate is actually going to come in handy.
Do you keep it for the next turn with Dr. Boom?
Oh, wow.
Well, you can curve out, so you can play Azure Drake or Belcher. I think Belcher is the best here. Innervate Belcher, and then next turn is Coin Drake into Swipe, most likely.
Yeah, I think the ability to just innervate and coin 2 5-drops sequentially is probably a tiny bit better than just getting that one Dr. Boom. The Boom bots are threatening though, so I'll give them that. Ooh.
You think?
Yeah, I thought he was going to play Violet Teacher there. I was a little surprised. But he's going to opt for the probably more standard. I mean, I don't know how standard it is, though, to double Deadly into nothing. Blood Mage? Nah. I mean, you do have a Loatheb follow-up for board presence, but you lose the tokens from Violet Teacher, which in general against Druid anyway gets swiped, so I don't know how relevant they really are. I like the double Deadly into Blood Mage here. Very solid line. It's very honest and straightforward, but He still has to address the board.
Yeah, well, the blade throw will be really important for Dog at some point.
Yep.
Especially with the threat of next Amaz.
Yeah. Do you coin out Azure Drake here, or do you keep for the Grove the 2-2? The 3-2, sorry. Because, I mean, the 2-4 is not a big deal.
I think you just play the Keeper and kill the farce here.
Okay, yeah, that seems to make sense. You can even keep your coin for turn 6 boom. Here comes the pain. That Shade of Nax is not going to live very long if that Blade Flurry sticks. I mean, what could Dog be afraid of here that comes out of Amaz's hand this turn? I don't think there's much. Besides, maybe Druid of the Claw would be a problem if it did come out, but other than that, there's very little.
Yeah, the problem with that finals, yeah, you have to get rid of it, like SAP, just because of the hero power.
Yeah, and now
you kind of don't want, you don't want to give the rogue a additional card, but at the same time, the spell power will be more important.
Yeah, and now we're looking at the board state. Dog has the entire board to himself. Amaz is going to be able to play something down, for sure. But what it is going to be... I mean, he's got many options. I mean, how do you... I think Swipe on its own with hero power could get rid of one of the 2 minions.
I think you have to play Dr. Boom.
But it's fairly... Yeah, I was going to say, because it's... But the problem is it's fairly weak. The problem is if you play Boom, you remove nothing, and you still get bursted down.
Yeah, but if you play Sylvanas, it's even worse, because then you're sapped. And if you play Ancient of Lore to heal yourself, it's passive. It's really passive. If you play Shredder...
Well, the punishment is unreal here. This is not even going to be fair. Then again, he can double swipe next turn. Wait. There's a double swipe coming up next turn. He could wipe this entire board no matter what happens. With swipe, coin swipe, he resets everything. Removes all the targets for Tinker's Sharp Sword as a result.
But he took so many points of damage.
Yeah. It's not a very proactive play, but I think I see his line of reasoning. It's just because he wants to get that double swipe on the following turn. But still, you can't possibly feel happy about taking a total of 9 damage here.
There's no way Amaz gonna win this game. Well, maybe
as I said, like the double swipe really does slow down Amaz, Dog's ability to deal damage. He's got a dagger, he's got an eviscerate, but if he doesn't find that burst,
okay, never mind.
Well, here goes a bit of burst. Anti-kill bot.
Wait, isn't it lethal? 4? No, 8.
No, it's not. You can't even play it. He's got only 8 mana. Do you just eviscerate face now, or do you wait for a backstab eviscerate? I think you can just keep it for backstab.
Yep.
Very, very strong position for Dog here. I think Amaz is forced in the position of healing himself with Ancient, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So, even when you heal yourself, you leave the anti-kill bot open, and then that means that Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil gets the maximum value out of it.
Exactly. That's exactly why he double swiped. He attempted to swipe to remove all Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil targets besides the weapon. And the line of thinking was good, but ultimately it's not going to be enough. That Tinker's Sharp Sword adding 6 damage to the board in 1 card. That is really incredible. And so Dog's going to be able to deal a completely insane amount of burst and kill Amaz outright. The double swipe line of thinking from Amaz I did like, but he had to dodge, all the bodies, and that anti-kill bot could actually hold the buff.
What do you think about